Believe in Badgers podcast on the Believe Podcast Network, presented by betonline.ag. Once again, I'm Matt Perkins. No Hebrew Hammer today. It's me going solo, reacting to the big news that Wisconsin has just landed edge rusher Thomas Heiberger out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Want to break down the tape on him because I think he is a really exciting prospect that maybe not a lot of people know a whole ton about because he's from South Dakota, but he's going to be a real-time impact player for the Badgers. Also want to look at the tape of Derek Jensen, the big offensive tackle out of Heartland from Arrowhead, who also committed to Wisconsin this week. So before I get into a little bit of tape breakdown, though, want to remind you guys that we are presented by betonline.ag, where they continue to be your number one source for all of your online sports wagering needs. You name it, they've got it over there at betonline.ag. As we're talking today, it's Masters weekend. NBA playoffs are just around the corner, so no matter what your game is, you can head on over to BetOnline. Use your mobile app or sign up today and use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's BetOnline, where the game starts. I want to start with Thomas Heiberger, who just committed to Wisconsin moments ago. He is a big-time pickup for Mike Tressel, for Matt Mitchell, and the rest of that defensive staff. 6'4", 215, 220, probably going to fill out to be closer to 235 by the time he's done growing. We're going to turn on the tape here in a second because I think it's really important for Badger fans to understand that he may not be the most notable recruit out there, but he's someone that's going to have a massive, massive impact, especially as a pass rusher. So Heiberger picked Wisconsin over Kansas State, Illinois, Nebraska, a couple other Northwestern, a couple other prominent programs. But he's the first defensive commit for the 2024 cycle for the Badgers. And he's someone that can, really make an impact in a lot of different ways. Primarily, he'll be used as an edge rusher, but you can see here just his athleticism and ability to drop back in the passing game and cover. But his calling card is absolutely his edge rush moves. He's got a great quick first step. That long 6'4" frame with really long arms allows him to long on the defender and really just turn speed to power. He's got like I said, he's got that great get off. And he plays with a motor on 11. If you're looking for a comp for this guy, I think it might be a little bit too easy to say Andrew Van Ginkel, considering that he's also from the state of South Dakota, and South Dakota is not a state that's really known for producing a ton of high level football recruits. But you see him and it's the frame, it's the motor, it's that ability to make those big time impact plays, turnovers, sacks, tackles for losses. And he's a kid that I know the staff is really, really high on because of that versatility, not just as an edge rusher, but also as a run defender, someone who can, drop back into coverage if necessary, can play, on the line of scrimmage, a couple yards off, and, be able to play not just, strong side outside linebacker, but really any of the linebacker positions in Mike Tressel's new 3-3-5, which the Badgers are deploying. His play style isn't super reminiscent of anyone on the current Badgers roster. Like I said, Van Ginkel is still sort of the, I think the ideal comp for him. Obviously if he turns into Andrew Van Ginkel, that would be a great pickup for Wisconsin. Even though Van Ginkel was a starter for 1 year, everyone remembers that he was a hugely impactful player after coming over from JUCO, Western Iowa Community College, I believe. I may have that wrong. But I think we're going to see Heiberger as a contributor, probably by the time he's his second year on campus. I could see him being a rotational edge rusher and maybe even being a starter by his, by the time he is maybe a redshirt sophomore. So huge upside. You've got to love what you see here from Heiberger. I think that, he's right now rated by Rivals as a high 3-star. As he gets more national exposure, now that he has, committed to Wisconsin, that's going to, give a level up on his exposure. And I could see him becoming someone who is, ranked as a 4-star here when, Rivals and 247 and On3 do their next round of rankings updates, which will probably be sometime after spring ball is over and camp circuits are over. So usually late June, early July is when I imagine the next round of rankings would come out. He's got a chance definitely to be a 4 star, especially as he just gets, like I said, more and more exposure. So it might be tough for the Badgers to hold on to him. I wouldn't be surprised if he's a kid who starts to pick up a lot of really, really big offers, but I know the staff thinks they've got an absolute gem here. And, I'm not going to disagree with them on that one whatsoever. So kudos to the staff, to Mike Tressel, to Matt Mitchell, and the entire recruiting staff for being able to reel in a guy who is, I think is going to be a really, really impactful player. Believe in Badgers is excited to be brought to you by Infinigods. Infinigods is a gaming studio with a suite of free, fun-to-play games centered around ancient mythologies and civilizations. Visit Infinigods.com to play their first game, Infinimerge, and learn about their upcoming tower defense game. Play for fun or play to compete and take your shot at winning digital collectibles. That's Infinigods at Infinigods.com, unleashing the power of blockchain games. This comes on the heels of the announcement by Derek Jensen, the big tackle from Arrowhead, 6'7", 330, and, state of Wisconsin kid, state of Wisconsin offensive lineman, and he brings the nasty. He is just an absolute mauler. And I think that there were a lot of people who thought, with Phil Longo coming in, Jack Bicknell coming in, might be looking for, maybe a little bit more of I don't want to say like a new school offensive lineman, but, when you look at Jensen here on the tape, he looks like an old school, like no nonsense, gonna beat the crap out of you right tackle. And while some people might not think that fits necessarily in this new open style of play and the air raid with Phil Longo, I think that he actually could be a real dominant force because he's going to get to have matchups on a lot lighter players at a lot of time. And so one of the things that's really impressed me about Jensen is the step that he made between his sophomore and his junior season. I watched his sophomore tape last year, broke it down with Clint Cosgrove last summer, and Jensen, you could definitely see some of the traits there, but he was a little bit plodding. He really hadn't grown into his body yet. Here on this junior tape, it's some really, really good tape. He does a really good job of just driving and finishing plays. Like I said, he is nasty. He loves pancakes. It's very clear about that. He seems to finish every single block, putting a guy into the dirt. But what really impressed me, though, between his sophomore and junior season was the way that he's improved in pass protection. You could see him getting beat off the ball, off the snap, a little bit too often as a sophomore. And he's done a great job of improving his footwork, improving his sets, and just his ability to do sort of all this and be an anchor on an Arrowhead team that's always been one of the stronger programs in the state of Wisconsin. Some people might wonder, why is he playing right tackle, not left tackle, a premier position? Well, Arrowhead's left tackle Garrett Sexton is a very solid recruit in his own right, but B, Jensen's going to be a right tackle at the college level. I mean, and so I think it's totally fine that he's not playing left tackle at the moment. He's dominant. He's absolutely dominant. And just no one wants to be blocked by him. You see it here. He just tosses kids to the ground left and right. It's going to be interesting to see how he, acclimates to Big Ten football, but he's got the body, he's got the frame, and he's got the mindset of wanting to bully everyone in front of him. It's a great pickup. It's a natural Wisconsin pickup. It's always good as well to keep these, really, big time recruits in the state. He's a 4-star kid, and, keeping him in the state is going to be important. It's, the new staff doesn't have necessarily all of the relationships with the high school football coaches within Wisconsin. It's, fact of life right now. And so as they work to reestablish those, it's really important for the staff to be able to keep getting kids from the Kimberleys and the Arrowheads and the Catholic Memorials and the other, strong programs within the state. I mean, there's a ton of them, but, it's going to be important to keep those relationships up. And I think that landing Jensen here early in the 24 cycle is a great way to go about that. And, as we continue to have the tape on here, it's so evident that he's just a physically dominating player, and he's playing with that with an arrogance and a really good arrogance that he is bigger, faster, stronger than everyone he's going to go, play against right now at the high school level. And he is putting that on full display and reminding the player across from him on every single snap that he is just that good. But you see him get to the second level, and that's another thing that he's really improved on from his sophomore to his junior year is his ability to stay over his feet and stay balanced while he works his way to the second level in the run blocking game, and not get beat by speed, but by smaller linebackers especially. So another really, really impressive pickup for Phil Longo and the Wisconsin Badgers offense. You see them have five pieces now in the 2024 class, four on the offensive side of the ball. Obviously, all kicked off with Mabry Matoyer, the quarterback out of Texas, added two big time tight ends in Grant Steck and Rob Booker. Now they've added Jensen, and now finally a defensive guy in Heiberger. I think that time is nigh for Wisconsin. This 2024 class could fix first full class. This is a really important one, and they are starting off really well. You've got on Rivals, you've got 3 4-stars and 2 high 3-stars. Both of those high threes, I think, are kids who could push 4-star status as we move into the senior season for these 2024 recruits. That's going to be all for today here on Believe in Badgers. We'll be back later this week with some more interviews. We've got more coaches coming up, some really, really fun, exciting guests that I think you guys are going to like, a couple returning guests as well. So we'll be back again very soon. And thanks for tuning in to the Believe in Badgers podcast on the Believe Podcast Network, presented by betonline.ag. And until next time, on Wisconsin.